Here we go, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Boot Room. I'm joined by good old Mark Heath as we look ahead to Town's trip to Port Vale this Tuesday night. Heathy, we're still buzzing, of course, from the win on Friday night, winning on Sky, beating Derby County, under lights at Portland Road. How are you feeling going to this game, but also your quick thoughts on the win against Derby?
Well, hello, Ross, my good old friend. Yes, it was a good win Friday, wasn't it? A lot of hoodoos put to bed, winning on Sky, playing in black at home as well, and beating in all honesty, would have to be considered a promotion rival. A big win. It wasn't the best of games, was it? As something to watch, but the important thing was that Town came away with a win, and they kept a clean sheet as well. And really, Derby barely threatened, did they? So, yeah, impressive win, good stuff. Good to get back on the horse after that defeat to Lincoln, and now another big one tomorrow night at Port Vale on Tuesday night. Almost 2,000 Town fans are going to be there, which is crazy. I mean, that kind of support is extraordinary. And McKenna saying earlier that he hopes they can send them home happy because he knows they'll all be getting back late or early, as the case may be, on Wednesday morning. So, yeah, big one, isn't it?
It is, and it's not a surprise anymore. Oh, good old Benson wants to get involved. But yeah, it's not a surprise anymore, is it, Heathy, in terms of the fans, the support, because we pack out all those away ends every time. When I was doing the Meet the Oppo series, the Port Vale guy in the green was saying, why is that? Why have you got so many fans going to these games? I think we just got a great support, and it is just great. And yeah, Port Vale, Heathy, we haven't been to Vale Park for more than 22 years. So I was 4 years old, just to let everyone get old and yourself, Heath, make you feel old. But back in League One, of course, under Darryl Clark, 14th in League One currently. What do you reckon then? Your thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, there are no easy games in League One, are there, Ross? As a classic saying goes. And McKenna said earlier that he's expecting a tough game, a fight. He referred to it as. I wish sometimes managers would just come out and go, "It's probably be easy," but they never will they? They're always going to say it's a tough game. So yeah, he's saying they're aggressive. They press well. They're good from set pieces. So it all adds up to another tough night for Ipswich Town on the road at Port Vale. And Port Vale actually kind of flying under the radar. I didn't realise they're doing pretty well. You know, they're down in 14th. They've got a game in hand, and if they were to win that, they'd be right up in just outside the top 6. So yeah, they're doing well. It certainly won't be an easy game, Ross. So let's hope that Town can keep rolling on. There's clearly a lot of talking points around team selection, which I'm sure we're going to get to in a minute. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, Port Vale, they're going very steady. I think they're pretty happy with where they are at the moment, just getting promoted. Of course, got Ellis Harrison in their ranks, the former Town player. He scored 7 goals for them. And also want to talk, Keithy, about the pitch. Apparently, the pitch isn't in a good state. And I know McKenna spoke about it as well. And of course, we're going to get used to this going into the winter months. Your thoughts on that, my friend?
Well, exactly that, Ross. He said for the first time this season, that's going to be potentially an issue tomorrow night. The first time they've had to play the pitch as well as the opposition. And as you say, in League One, as we go into those winter months, bad pitches are probably going to be something they come up against quite often. Not at Portman Road, of course, because it's like a carpet, isn't it, Portman Road? Yeah. But certainly as the season wears on those kind of smaller grounds, we're going to see issues with pitches, you'd imagine. So yeah, he's aware of that. He knows that's something that they're going to potentially face tomorrow night and further on. So he says, it's good in a way that they're getting used to it now.
Yeah, and well, let's get right into the talking points then, Heathy, because team news has been an easy thing to sort of decide on. Really, we know pretty much the front, back, and everything, but the forward three is always interesting. But midfield this time around, no Sam Morsey, no Lee Evans. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Of course, the front three, McKenna likes us to guess. It was all pace on Friday night. What's he going to do on Tuesday night? Heathy, what's your thoughts on everything?
Well, obviously, the main talking point really is midfield, isn't it? The midfield too. We know Morsey can't play. He's suspended because of picking up that 5th booking on Friday night. Lee Evans, although no one's come out and said he will definitely miss the game, it does sound like he will. He obviously hobbled off injured on Friday, knee problem, having scans today. And you'd imagine if the injury is serious enough that it needs a scan, it's probably also going to be serious enough that it's going to keep him out of a game 3 days after he suffered the injury. So without those two, who comes in? You would think Dominic Ball will definitely be one of them. Championship pedigree, battle-hardened veteran. Seems a good fit for this sort of game, a physical sort of game. He's a big boy. And then you're looking at, do you bring in someone like Cameron Humphreys, who has been playing, he's been in and around the first team, clearly a very talented young player. Is he going to be suited to a physical sort of night at Port Vale? Questions. And the other one, of course, is Panuche Kamara, who is battling his way back from a groin injury. He's played, I think, 45 minutes, hasn't he, at Cambridge in the EFL Trophy, a dead rubber last week, and he's played again for the under 21 since then. But is he ready to come in and play at least 60 minutes in a game like this? We just don't know, do we? McKenna asked earlier if he and Cameron Burgess, obviously wearing the mask at the moment, would be involved tomorrow night, and he said, yeah, very possibly. So you'd imagine they're going to be on the bench at least, both of those guys. But whether or not Kamara will be fit to start, I don't know. Maybe with the 5 subs, if you can say to him, look, Pan, go on, give us 60 minutes of your best effort, and then we can switch it out. I don't know. But if you're a betting man, you'd probably say it's going to be Ball and Humphreys, wouldn't you, in terms of fully fit and ready to go. And then in terms of the other selection posers, most of the Town team is set in stone, isn't it? Particularly when Morsey and Evans are playing, you know, basically what the back 7's going to be, and then it's the up top, isn't it, as to who plays where. So I have my thoughts. Would you like me to reel off a team now, Ross, so we can flash up a lovely graphic?
Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent. So obviously you've got Walton in goal, you've got Donatian, you've got Edmondson, you've got Wolfenden, and you've got Davis at the back. Ball and Humphreys in this game. Obviously, normally Morsey and Evans. And the top 4, Wes Burns, absolutely nailed on, you'd imagine. And then it's the other 3, isn't it? So we saw a different look on Friday, as you say. McKenna clearly valued pace on Friday. We had Tyrese John Jules and Caden Jackson involved. But in this sort of game, you'd imagine he'll want physicality. He's referred to them as a physical test, an aggressive side. So for me, I'd be playing Freddie Ladapo up top, because that's, well, he's Town's best striker anyway. I still think he's Town's best striker, and he appears to be suited to a game like this. He's going to put himself around. He is physical. He's a big boy, and he's going to put forth the effort and lead that press that Town like to do. So I'd say Ladapo up top. Clearly, Connor Chaplin has to play behind him, I would imagine. Again, and then left side, I know Harness has been playing there, but he's cooled off a little bit with his goal scoring, hasn't he? And he does give the ball away a lot. And I would really like to see Carl Edwards given a chance there. I know he's been in good form, obviously sent off at Cambridge, didn't start on Friday night, but I really want to see him get a run in that position. So that would be mine. I'd go Burns right, Chaplin middle, Edwards left, Big Fred up top. What do you reckon?
I haven't written it down, but that's been in my head before we're recording, and I think it's definitely Ladapo's game. This one, it's definitely physical game. We're not going to be. I'm sure we'll still play on on the floor and you're going to pass it, run around the back, but it's going to be a bit harder. So we may have to lump the ball up to Ladapo a few times just to play that. And yeah, Burns is a guaranteed starter. And as you said, Edwards, I know he got sent off against Cambridge, but it was just that, he shouldn't have been sent off, but we won't get into that, my friend. But this could be a good game for him to start and really run at the Port Vale defence and see what he can do from the start once again. And but the thing is, Heathy, that 5 substitution rule is just unbelievable for Town, because you can just bring on Harness, you can bring on these players. Like Connor Chaplin was an unused sub, against Derby, but he's going to be fresh and raring to go. And of course, we've had one more day of rest as well because we played on Friday night. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be probably the first sort of team news. We were really excited to see what McKenna's going to do, because we ain't got Morsey, we ain't got Evans. We're going to see what the forward 3 is, and we shall see. Well, Heathy, let's get into some key stats before getting into predictions and just the final talking points of the game against Port Vale. Okay, Heathy, talking points. Any more talking points from yourself before we get into predictions?
I think you mentioned him earlier, but Ellis Harrison obviously is worthy of mentioning. He's Vale's leading scorer, the Valiants. He scored 7 goals this season. He scored in a win at Derby County. Should mention they're actually unbeaten in 4 games in all competitions. Vale, they're in decent form. They won at Derby, beat Cambridge away at the weekend, so they're definitely coming in with high hopes, you'd imagine, from this game. It will be interesting to see how ambitious they're going to be, though, won't it, Ross? At home against a side that are flying high like Ipswich Town. If this game was at Portman Road, you'd imagine they'd come and maybe park the bus a little bit and look to hit them on the counter and maybe snatch a goal. But at home, hopefully they're going to come out with a bit more ambition than they would be normally. So hopefully there will be openings for Town to exploit. So Ellis Harrison, clearly one to watch. I know he was only at Town for a very brief period, wasn't he? and it has kind of knocked around teams since then. But in what is likely to be a physical game, he is certainly going to be one to watch, isn't he, for them? So yeah, definitely worth mentioning him.
Definitely, they sound like they're a very organised team. Darryl Clark is gotten promoted first of all, but they sound like an organised side. But also, they are known for conceding a few goals as well at some point. So we shall see how Town get on. Prediction then, Heathy, what do you reckon? Can Town make it back-to-back wins? Can they have a good night under lights at Port Vale?
I'm terrible at predictions, Ross. So I might start taking your approach. I might say that it could either be a win, a draw, or a defeat.
Wow. I was close. I was close
Yeah.
for Derby. And actually, I got it right with 1-0 win, but also
Well,
0-0 could have been there.
You did say two predictions. You said a 0-0 draw and a 1-0 win. So in that spirit, you were correct. But you know, technically, you're picking two out of the possible three outcomes, which doesn't make you Rostradamus. I think Town are going to win this game, Ross. I think it'll probably be a difficult game, but I can see them getting a goal or two to edge what will be a physical bit of a scrap on a pudding of a pitch. I've not actually seen the pitch, but clearly we've spoken about it. It doesn't sound like it's the best. So I'm going to say 2-0 Town.
I've got that written down as well. So this is very boring. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I think a 2-0 win. Or do you know what? Actually, no, I'll change it. Maybe Port Vale will nick a goal at some point. So 2-1. I don't know. They'll score a scrappy goal on the scrappy pitch. But I think we'll score early. And maybe from a Carl Edwards goal, maybe. If he's going to start, why not? It'd be nice to see him score and have a goal. But 2-1. And I think that will be pretty happy days for Town going into, of course, the game against Charlton at the Valley on Saturday. But Heathy, another great boot room in the books. Any other business, my friend?
No, just that. I mean, obviously, it's 2 away games now, isn't it? Starting tomorrow night and then Charlton on Saturday. So it'd be nice to kick off the road trips with 3 points tomorrow night and then head to Charlton for another tough game on the Saturday. Fingers crossed.
Yes, indeed. Well, thanks very much for joining me, Heathy. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Of course, follow the game with us if you're not going. If you are going, enjoy and see you at Vale Park. Bye-bye for now.